So how on earth does a rapper and an engineer, with absolutely no political party backing him, become the prime minister of an entire country? Well, it's a wild story that actually begins with a prediction. You might even call it a prophecy, written not in some old dusty book, but on a Facebook wall. Let's dig in and see how this all went down. And here it is, May 14th, 2017. While local elections are kicking off back home in Nepal, a young engineering student named Balendra Shah, who's studying over in India, drops these 10 simple words on Facebook. Now, at the time, this probably just looked like some kid talking big, but it turns out it was way more than that. It was a declaration of intent. So check out this journey laid out right here. It all starts with a casual Facebook post in 2017, and less than a decade later, boom, he's taking the oath for the highest office in the country. This wasn't just a career change, you guys. This was a full-blown political earthquake. This timeline connects a little digital whisper to a massive political roar. So what was it really? An unbelievably lucky guess? Or was this the very first move in a carefully plotted master plan? Let's figure it out together. Okay, first things first, let's rewind and go back to that original Facebook post. Because the prophecy itself, that's only half the story. The other half, the really juicy part, is hiding in plain sight right there in the comments section. So, try to picture it. Balans in Bangalore, deep in his master's program, watching his country's politics play out from hundreds of miles away. He types out that now famous status. But what's really fascinating is who was watching and who decided to reply. See, he wasn't just shouting into the digital void. And here we go. A simple comment from a guy named Sunil Lamsal. All it says is, "That's right." But it's Balin's reply that's the real bombshell. "I know you will always be there." Now, this isn't just two friends chatting online. This is the first piece of evidence we have of the alliance that would one day run the entire country. You're going to want to remember that name. Sunil Lamsal. To really get how he pulled this off, you have to understand the two completely different worlds he came from. He wasn't just one thing or the other. He was this unique mashup of the super technical and the deeply artistic. On one side, you've got Balan the engineer, the guy with degrees in civil and structural engineering, the one who actually knew how to build bridges and shelters after that devastating 2015 earthquake, the practical, hands-on builder. But then, on the other side, you've got Balan the rapper, the artist who blew up in legendary rap battles and, inspired by his poet father, used his music to talk about politics in a way no one else was. One side of him built foundations with concrete, and the other built a foundation with the people. And, his childhood kind of gives you a few clues about the path he was on. His dad was a well-known physician, so young Balan got an early peek into the country's elite circles. Friends and family say he was always a serious kid, really clear on what he wanted. Plus, he went to more than 8 different schools. That kind of upbringing teaches you how to adapt to anything fast. So all these different threads, the engineering brain, the artist's soul, the raw ambition, they all start to get woven together during his time in Bangalore. This is where that vague idea to do something big starts to look like a real, solid plan. 2 events were absolutely critical here. First, that horrible 2015 earthquake. His work building shelters wasn't just a job, it was a mission. It showed him what the country really needed on the ground. And then he gets to Bangalore, where he meets Sunil Lamsal, the guy from the Facebook comment. This is where that political partnership really takes shape. Now, what's really amazing here is this synergy. You got these 2 brilliant engineering students, both going for the same advanced degree. But Balan, he brings the celebrity factor, right? He's already a famous rapper with this burning desire to make a difference. And Sunil, he becomes his closest ally, the one person he knows he can count on no matter what. They weren't just classmates, they were basically a government in waiting. Okay, so he's got the vision, he's got the key partner, but how do you turn all that into actual votes, especially when you're an independent going up against the big parties? This is where Balan the strategist comes out to play, and believe me, he wrote a whole new playbook for Nepali politics. It was an absolute masterclass in building momentum. He kicks things off online, announcing he's running for mayor on a huge social media page. That immediately sparks endorsements from famous artists and celebrities. That buzz gets so loud that podcasters and then mainstream TV have no choice but to pay attention. See how it works? Each step just feeds the next, creating this massive snowball of attention before the old-school parties even knew what hit them. And at the absolute core of his strategy was this really clever psychological trick. It's called precision bias. The basic idea is simple. Our brains are just wired to trust a super specific number more than a round one. It just feels more accurate, more researched. And Baumolin used this to his advantage, brilliantly. And this right here is exactly how he did it. He didn't just go on TV and say, yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to win. No way. He looked straight into the camera and said, we will win with 90,835 votes. This is based on our data. It sounded so scientific, so certain. And honestly, whether that data was real or not didn't even matter. The number itself became a weapon. It convinced people that his victory wasn't just a possibility, it was a calculated fact. And guess what? That wild strategy actually worked. It won him the mayorship of Kathmandu, which was huge. It gave him a national stage and proved that an independent could actually win. That victory was the launching pad for the final act, the fulfillment of that 9-year-old prophecy. And this, right here, brings that whole alliance full circle. You can see the clear progression. From mayor to prime minister, Belen kept his most trusted friend, Sunil Lomsal, right by his side in these super important infrastructure roles. That promise from the 2017 Facebook comment, I know you will always be there, it wasn't just about friendship. It was the actual blueprint for his government. You know, people often call Balan Shah a mystery, but maybe they just weren't looking in the right place. He even says it himself. His life is an open book on Facebook. The ambition, the plans, the key players, it was never a secret. It was all right there, documented online for anyone who was paying attention. So, in the end, that prophecy wasn't some lucky guess. It was the first chapter of a story he was absolutely determined to write for himself. He proved he could write his own destiny, taking himself all the way from a classroom in Bangalore to the highest seat of power in Kathmandu. The only question left now is the big one. What is he going to write for the future of Nepal?